have Malcolm also. He's currently setting up our cameras and getting everything ready to roll. Malcolm, real quick, say hello.
What it is.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's the Big Hammock Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Shear, along with Travis Cecil and Malcolm Sear in the studio. We are coming to you via YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeart. Our podcast is growing. We are asking you to give us a like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, hit the notification bell,
Ding.
whatever platform you're on. Travis, you were looking up some information last night.
Oh, yeah.
On player.fm, Malcolm.
Yeah. Okay.
We are now ranked number 17 for podcast in Ocala.
Yeah. And it should be higher.
Out of how many podcasts is there?
There was like 30 of them that was on the list.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's not bad, bro.
Well, and to hear Travis out, though, why should it be higher, Travis?
There was about another 8 of them that haven't even released episodes in like anywhere from 3 to 4 years. So they just got their stuff on loop.
Oh,
Yeah.
got you.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we're up and coming.
We're moving.
Yeah.
We're moving.
So tonight's guest is director Michael Dahan, and I hope I got that right. I didn't check that with him. We'll make sure
He'll correct you when he comes on.
I'm sure. But before we get him on here, again, we talk about liking, sharing, subscribing. We ask for all your support and what we're doing. It's free of charge to do that stuff. We also can't forget the foundation of this podcast. We made a Bigfoot movie. 100% locally filmed, budgeted in Ocala.
Yep.
That's zero budget.
Yeehaw!
There wasn't even catering.
TheBigHammock.com, one word, is where you'll find it.
Whoop, whoop.
It's a measly $5 to rent it.
Yeah, come on.
Check it out.
That's less than a pack of cigarettes. So
That's
rent
right.
the movie.
It's the reason why we started this podcast. We were promoting our movie. It's turned into a platform for independent film directors, cast members, you name it. It's a platform to talk about films.
Right.
You can check out our movie reaction, the movie reaction or the trailer reaction on YouTube, and you can see where the viewers, how they responded to it. So I'm telling you that because we won't let you down. You go to BigHammock.com, check it out. You won't be let down. Now, before we have Michael on, he was the director and the writer of Yes, Repeat, No is the movie we're going to be talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on with this movie, so I'm going to let Michael tell us about it. Before we have him on, let's check his trailer out together. Here we go.
Christian,
Israeli Juliano.
Israeli Juliano, Arab Juliano, Public Juliano. A triangle.
You're reading for the character type of Arab Juliano, Israeli Juliano, public persona of Juliano Mer-Khamis.
Type, what do you mean type?
Facets of a character. It's a conceptual film.
He died, no?
He was assassinated with his infant son on his lap.
So I'm playing a dead man. Why is he here? Are we supposed to solve political problems? A Jew, a Christian, a Muslim.
Think of it as 3 parts of one man.
A triangle. Maybe for once the Arab does not play the terrorist.
Maybe for once the Arabs don't commit terrorist acts.
Maybe for once the Israelis doesn't bomb Gaza.
Maybe for once you understand it's retaliation.
Maybe next time I throw a rock in your face.
You've done that before. What did that get you?
A bloody nose. Don't touch me. This is what they want us to do. Come outside and do your job. We are writing the script. Well, I'm talking to you.
New pages.
Not starting from scratch. 3 messiahs.
I've noticed a lot.
Another triangle.
Another repetition.
Repetition? Why? Guys!
There's no solution.
Coexist.
Are you insane? Get us out of here!
The triangle. Israeli Juliano, Arab Juliano, Public Juliano. 3 Julianos. 3 of us. A triangle. All claim the origin story of God. 3 messiahs.
All right, welcome to the show, Michael.
Hey guys.
Michael, did I get your name right?
Yeah, you did actually.
Dahan?
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Perfect.
Dang.
I'm getting better at this stuff. You know?
There you go.
So Michael, again, thank you for coming on and talking about your film. We really enjoy this stuff. You have to have a passion to be doing what you're doing, whether it's writing a film, directing a film. Obviously, you've got that passion, and we share that passion with you. I got to tell you, when I watched that trailer for the very first time, I'll just be honest with you. My reaction inside my mind and the way I think was, all right, what's going on here? Right. So,
Right.
and I say that with all due respect. Can you tell the listeners what this movie is about?
Yeah, of course. I will say first, the confusion is kind of part of it. It's intentional. It's not an unintentional thing. But the subject of the film is a man named Juliano Mer-Khamis, who was an activist and an actor who was both Palestinian and Jewish. And that's kind of why I thought he was such an interesting subject for a film, because he kind of represents this really difficult political situation. His father was Palestinian Christian, his mother was Israeli Jewish, and he was both, right? So he kind of represents this. And so the movie is really a kind of allegory about him and, three actors that are auditioning to play him and kind of competing for the part by each making a claim that, like, the Israeli version of him is the right one versus the Palestinian one. It's basically a way of dealing with the conflict in Palestine and Israel without being so heavy-handed about it. So I have a situation where you've got actors kind of competing for a part.
Gotcha. And when you were writing the story for this, you also wrote the film. What inspired this film when it, when this all came to your mind? What inspired that?
Well, I was actually working on trying to put together to curate a gallery exhibition of artists that were Israeli and Palestinian that was about intergenerational trauma and the kind of artwork that comes out of, like, really intense trauma, right? Meaning like 50, 60, 30 years ago, and what happens to people, many decades on, and what's the kind of artwork that they make. I could not get Israeli and Palestinian artists to be in the same gallery. And so I had this, so it was impossible. I mean, I had really great people who wanted to be a part of it, but, Palestinians had hesitations about kind of being, like, tokenized by Israeli artists, and Israeli artists really didn't feel comfortable, with the kind of the exhibition in terms of being all in the same room. So it's a very sensitive topic. It's a really sensitive region. Mm-hmm. And so I was in the situation where I had to come up with something to put in the gallery, because the gallery director was like, listen, dude, you've got a show in 4 months. I don't care what you do. You got to put something in that gallery. Why don't you make a movie? This was in March or April. And I had the gallery in October, and I was like, there's no way I can make a movie in 4 months and have it ready. But one of the things that, somebody said to me when I was working on it was, they said, this is kind of a dangerous thing to try to maintain both of the sides of this really difficult conflict in one place. And there's a guy who tried to do that, and he kind of lost his life over it. And his name is Juliano Mer-Khamis. And that was the first time that I had really considered that he might be the subject of the film. I'd known about him. He has a theater company in Palestine called the Freedom Theater. It's a kind of activist theater group. But what was interesting to me is I watched a video online of him making some kind of he was like, listen, I'll tell you how I'm going to die. I mean, this guy was really charming. He's like, I'm going to die when some Palestinian is going to come up to me and shoot me in the head. And he was just kind of joking, tongue-in-cheek, because, he was somebody who, like, Palestinians worked with, but, like, older Palestinians were suspicious of him because he's Israeli. And Israelis thought he was kind of collaborating with Palestinians. So he had enemies on all sides. And then I saw that he had actually been assassinated.
Wow.
Like, a few years later. And that's when I was like, okay, there's got to be a movie here, right? The producer was like, there's something here. And I kind of went into this research hole for a couple of weeks. And to be honest, the script took me, the first draft of the script probably took me 3 days to write. I mean, I just sat in my chair and did not move. I probably showered and, ate a couple meals, but that was about it. Because once I had it, it just all came out. Once I had the idea, it just came out almost in one sitting, minus the sleep, right?
Now, did you have a reason why you did majority of the mostly all of it was in black and white, except for the sporadic moments that you went meta on me.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I always knew that black and white represented this kind of two-sided argument, right? That there's always it's always like there's us and them, and so it felt like the right choice to make from the beginning. And of course, the characters in the film end up wearing black, white, and gray suits, and they end up kind of switching the suits. So it becomes even more difficult to understand, like, well, which guy was the one in the white and which one was the one in the black, like. And I think that confusion, which is the one, the kind of same confusion you expressed at the trailer, was intentional. I mean, that's, to me, is the point, is that it's not really black and white. It's not as easy as something that's just black and white. And in fact, the real lived experience of being a human being and identifying as, one thing or another is much more complicated than that. It's not black and white. That's the point for me, right? So the way that was established, I think, felt kind of organic to what it was about, right? Which is, it's Palestine and Israel, it's us and them, it's good guys, bad guys. But really, that's just a thing that we artificially impose because it makes us feel comfortable to know that, you're bad and I'm good, or you're black, I'm white, or you're, in the right and I'm in the wrong. Whatever that is, we're always creating these kind of binary sides. And I really was trying to work against that. So one way to do that was to start with the black and white.
Nice.
Right. Okay. So, and this may be a spoiler, so feel free not to answer it for the audience. But the whole meta part of almost like inserting those behind the scenes colored shots. Do you want to expound on that and how you come up with that crazy idea that I just thought was genius?
Well, we did. One of the things that was tricky about this, like, as you know, making independent films, we had very limited resources, and we were only shooting for 10 days.
Wow.
And the actors, I mean, like 10 8-hour days, like no time for overtime, right? Like no money for overtime, like 2 hours in the makeup chair, 6 hours on the stage. So I had to make sure that we were shooting as much as we possibly could. So a lot of the first week was really rehearsing the script and having the actors understand the script, because they didn't come in memorizing it. I didn't want them to memorize it. I wanted them to feel like they were actors working through the work.
Smart.
But I had to make sure that we were getting footage.
Right.
So we had 3 cameras on tracks shooting at all times, and we were trying to get our master shots, our 2 shots, our close-ups, all at the same time, right? So everything was going to be shot. And so then we thought, well, wouldn't it be great if we also had somebody filming us interacting with the actors? Because if we're filming everything and we're showing the lights and we're showing the cameras, why aren't we also showing, the DP and the director and the producer having conversations? But we wanted to think of like a different language for that. And so that's how we went with color, because again, this whole film is about, like, what does it mean to have an identity, and like, what's the, like, when are you performing an identity, and when are you rehearsing an identity, and when is it real, and when is it some kind of performance? And so I thought it was dishonest for us to not show the fact that, like, I'm standing off screen giving direction, right? Because it really becomes part of the entire world of trying to understand how identity is somewhat a performance.
Yeah, I'm just impressed that you got that filmed in 10 days. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We took 2 years to get our movie done, and that's the average time that we've spent talking to other directors. Michael,
Right.
it's been we get anywhere from a year to a year and a half, 2 years, and it just seems like that's the thing. And then you come in and you say 10 days. That's impressive. Yeah. So I got some questions for you as far as like logistics of the movie, right? So obviously you were talking about at the beginning of the year something went down, and then by October you needed. So my first question for you is, how long did it take you to write out the script?
That was, the first draft was about 3 days.
Wow!
Right?
Wow!
But
Impressive.
Of course, there's revision, but it didn't end there. I mean, the script changed so much because of what the actors brought to it, because of what my producer brought to it. We put up a bunch of text on the walls. My producer Sarah Salvitz had this great idea of, like, let's put a bunch of words that were said by political figures in Palestine and Israel and even American political figures, and let's just put them on the wall and let them just put them in the script as they feel.
Yep.
And so they were kind of writing and improvising. I mean, there's a ton of improvisation. It's almost like, you know, everybody participated in the kind of scripting of the script itself while we were in production, because the actors would come up with stuff all the time. No take was.
We can 100% relate to that. I want to follow up with, and again, I'll just set up the backstory. You know, with Malcolm here in the studio, he's our soundboard director. He was the director of our film, and this film, it's a Bigfoot movie, and he had this vision for what it was going to be. Now, he did go to a friend of ours and say, his name's Jake Kinnett. He was the writer of the movie. And he would said, hey, you know, I got this idea for this film, and he gave him the plot and some specifics that he wanted in the movie. But he said, you know, I need you to write it. You know, you can add whatever you want to it. Just write me a script. And Jake came through with that. He wrote the script, you know, but as Jake wrote the script, Malcolm started reading it, you know, starts to think about who his friends are that he knows that he can get to be in this film, as far as the characters and, you know, who's it going to be? It would, to be honest with you, Michael, it was just all friends that he knew. We did this on a zero budget, and the reason for me telling you that story is I'm curious as to how you came up with your cast.
Yeah, I mean, this was a big part of it, because one of the things that was really important to me was that the three male leads would kind of look alike, right? So that they were almost difficult to tell apart, right? Like that they were all bearded Middle Eastern men, right? In the way that like people will often say in a derogatory, insulting way, like you guys all look the same, you know, when they're trying to kind of insult somebody of a particular race. So I think for Middle Eastern, I wanted three people who looked the same, but I also wanted three people who had a kind of biographical connection. So my, you know, the gentleman who played the Israeli Juliano, he was actually Lebanese. The Palestinian Juliano was Palestinian, and then the guy who plays this character called the public Juliano, who's like somewhere in between, he was Israeli. So each of them had personal experience with the Middle East and had opinions. And the point was that we didn't actually agree. I mean, the female lead, Salome Azizi, was she's British Iranian, so she too has, you know, a personal relationship to this. So the point for me was that number one, the men had to kind of look the same, and number two, they had their own opinions about this, because we would stop and argue about stuff all the time, and I knew that was going to happen, because you cannot, you know, get in a room with four Middle Easterners and talk about you know, Israel and Palestine and not disagree. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
So I wanted to always be shooting and shoot everything, because again, we got 10 days. We got to get everything we could possibly get, shoot everything at all times, shoot people talking off stage, shoot the cameraman talking to me, you know, shoot the actors arguing, shoot after I say cut. When I say cut, you don't cut. We just keep, if we argue, you keep shooting. That's actually even better stuff is when we're arguing.
I really,
wow.
I really like that. I can't help but think of, you know, they tell a story about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that when they opened the door to the factory, that was their first time seeing it, and they captured it on film. Like, that is to me, that sounds like exactly what you were doing, is you were capturing these people in real life, having these arguments amongst themselves. And, you know, Again, it's a touchy subject already, so these people have to remain professional.
Well, and I feel like that's why it feels so much like once you start implementing those colored shots, and again, if I'm spoiling anything, just let me know.
Oh, you're not.
I'll shut up.
You're good.
But when you started implementing those, and it's almost like you do start feel like you're watching a documentary of these actors trying to be this actor, and it's meta, right? It's like that's the term, like nowadays is like it's meta. It's like a world within a world within a world, and I feel like that is such the genius of it that it was. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard the subject matter, when we got the screener, I'm thinking, ooh, Palestinian and Israel dude being assassinated, it was almost like something I didn't even want to think about touching. Like I was like, I don't know, man.
By the way, a lot of festivals didn't want to think about touching it because of that. Right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
a lot.
Right, it's a touchy subject. So I was like, you know what? Let me watch it. So I started watching it, and I was just blown away by. And the guys can tell you, like, it was literally like that. Like, man, I don't know if I want to touch this. But then after I watched it, I called up Travis, who does our book, and I said, make sure you get this guy on the show because this movie just blew me away with. It went from watching this film, and at first you're kind of, like you said, the confusion, right? Because you're kind of like, all right, you're trying to put everything together. You're trying to piece things together. And then there's a point, and again, if I'm spoiling anything, we can cut it out, but there's a point where it almost makes it like the lady, the lead woman character is saying that they're each going to have the main part of the certain parts that the guy played. Is that right? Did I read that right? Did I understand that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, and she's basically saying like each of you is playing one part of him,
right?
Because he was parts together, and they're all like, "Well, I thought I got the part," and she's like, "Well, you all got the part, right?"
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is, like, you know, you guys seeing this as a doc. I mean, is it a documentary? Like, yeah, it's a document of us rehearsing and performing this script. So
right.
It's a documentary, but also a narrative, right? It's like somewhere in between, and it doesn't decide what it is because, again, it's not one or the other.
Right. It's
Nice.
genius. Honestly, man.
Well,
I've never seen anything like it. And I'm not going to lie. I felt bad for the guy that was doing the auditioning, and he always had to play the terrorist guy. Like, I really felt bad for him more than like, he's the one that was kind of like, I felt his pain. Not that I've ever had to play a terrorist, and I'm a white guy, so
Right.
you know. It's like,
I mean, listen, if you're a Middle Eastern actor in you know, the film industry in the 1980s and the 90s, which is when Juliano Mer-Khamis was himself an actor first before he became an activist. Like, those are the parts that you get.
right.
You don't get a lot of options. You just get like jihadi number 2 or warlord number 1 or
right.
soldier. You know. You get.
And he sold it, man. He really made you feel bad. Like, yeah, man, it kind of sucks. Like, they keep just wanting to give him all the bad guy parts. It's like, man, you know, it's got to really suck. But, you know, I just want to say, man, I was blown away by, especially once I kind of, I'm a slow person anyways. It takes me time to pick up on things. But once I kind of got the idea of what was going on, I was like, man, this is such a good. I wish I would have thought of this idea of a movie, of a documentary, of a movie within a movie of a documentary. So it's just like, it was pretty cool, man.
Well, I take that as a compliment, because when I'm jealous of somebody, it's always the highest compliment. I'm always like, man, why did I think of that?
Yeah, why didn't I think of that?
I mean, one of the things about the kind of production of that, which I think is really awesome, and it's kind of like, I never want to work in a different way. You know, when you're making a movie and you got to do like establishing shot, okay, stop, reset, 2 shot, okay, close up, like that really frustrates me. And so the idea of just having cameras going all the time, where it's like you don't have to worry about, don't see the camera or don't see the lights, it's very liberating. I think maybe I don't want to make a movie in a different way. Like, I just think that just allows you to just shoot and shoot and shoot, and then just say, okay, like, take it again, like, don't even worry, we're not even cutting, just keep doing it. And I think that's way more fun as a director and for actors than like, do a shot, reset, move the lights, do this. You know, like, everything is so slow and plodding when you're making movies on a bigger scale, where you have to make it conventionally the way you're supposed to make a movie.
So I do want, you know, while you're going down that path, I know that Travis has always got this question for everybody. Malcolm too. This is one that we always want to ask everybody: is what did you shoot with?
You know, it's interesting that I don't even remember that because it was so long. But it was a digital. It was a Sony, like it was like an 8K camera, right? So we basically were shooting 4 identical digital Sony cameras.
Nice.
And made sure that the memory cards would never run out at the same time, so that it was always staggered, right? So it's like we'd always have at least 3 cameras shooting, even if we were swapping out a card.
Okay, nice,
so
nice.
You know, we finished this movie with 250 hours of footage, so like it took you know, we had this show 3 months later where we kind of showed the first act of the film at a gallery exhibition, but it took us another year and a half, 2 years with these, you know, my awesome editors, Alex Tyson and Benjamin Shern. And like, it was just such a taxing and toiling it just took so long to find the movie. I was the assistant editor for my editor because I knew what all the footage meant.
Nice.
Right. So I was my own assistant editor because no assistant editor would be able to go through 250 hours of footage and know which glance was the right one, or when he sighed that one time on set. And I was just like, that's it. That's the, you know, so it was an interesting, that process was just crazy. The editing was.
Oh yeah, I'd have loved to have been in the room. I can only imagine what the assembly reel looked like when you was first laying everything out. That had to be. I'd be pulling out my hair.
I don't know if you guys had this experience, but like, you know, we edited the film the way we wrote it, and then we were like, no, that's not it.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
no.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I always say, you know, you make 3 films. It's the one you write, the one you shoot, and the one you edit. And you know.
Right.
So with ours, man, there was actually quite a few scenes we never did get to film, and that kind of left holes within our story. And it was a comedy thriller, so obviously we can get away with a little bit more with the comedy as far as the acting goes. But then when I got like the assembly cut together, and I'm like, okay, there's just the glue is missing. I need something to glue these pieces together. So I hit up Zach, who was also in the film, and I was like, man, look, your character's gonna be a bigger character because he's just gonna narrate the story of the film. So we're gonna have to shoot this, you know. So it kind of worked the same way. Like once I got it down, and I'm thinking, yeah, man, this is not gonna work. Like it's not a cohesive story. So
or it was for me it was coherent, but it was a bore. I was just like, well, that's what I wrote, but that's not that interesting, right?
Yeah.
So then it was like, okay, chop it up and like make a salad and like make it nonlinear and, you know, take it out of its kind of sequence and that took a while just to get that right. You know, it was a lot. That was really a lesson for me in terms of how much how important the editor is.
So, I mean, I got to tell you again, between you and really Malcolm really just putting over the film, which rightfully so. It was great to watch. I can't help but think, especially after talking with you, you know, the proactiveness that you took behind it. I mean, it sounds like to me you guys thought out every obstacle that could possibly take place. And you guys had your workarounds figured out before you even got on set, which is definitely something that, you know, again, I can tell you for sure we had some workarounds that we had to overcome on set, and I'm sure you did too. But I just think it says something to us that these things were thought of beforehand, and I think that the film shows exactly what it is, you know, exactly that. That's what I think it took place.
You know, this is the one reason why I love independent films.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all take risk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we try, we you know, we accomplish what we can do. We come up with things on the fly. And you know, where like studio heads or something like that, they'd be like, yeah, we're not going to buy this. We're not going to believe in this. But, you know, we take the risk and do it.
Well, just like you said, too, it's like we don't marry to the exact idea, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no.
We make our own rules.
Right. Like, it's like, okay, here's the plan. We shoot the plan. We watch the plan. And we're like, well, we don't like this, so we need to figure out how to, you know, take it out of linear video, right? Like throw in some spice, throw in some ideas that are going to kind of keep it alive in a sense. And that's exactly how it goes. Just like our opening scene, I mean, let me tell you, it was the longest scene of the movie, and it was just like you said, it was the most boring scene of the movie.
Right.
We cut that down. It was like a 6.5 minute scene. We cut it down to, I think, like 58 seconds. You know what I'm saying? We're like, because it didn't help the story at all.
Long, right? That's still a long scene. You don't think that it's long when you shoot a 2.5 minute scene, right?
Right.
So
I mean, we get really precious with the things that we make, but like, sit in a film festival and watch a program of shorts, and you'll notice how quickly you look at your watch. It's like 3.5 minutes in, you're like, oh, I didn't know it was just 3.5 minutes. So I think audiences are much better at reading things very quickly than we give them credit for.
Yeah, I want to finish up with this deal here. We're wrapping up on time, and I got to ask you, for the listeners, is there any last thing that you could say to our listeners that you think would maybe get them I feel like Malcolm, and between you and Malcolm, you guys really have me wanting to watch it again. So it's like, but is there any one last thing that you would want to tell our listeners about the film that might, intrigue them a little bit more to watch it?
One of the things that I'm proudest of about this film is that you're watching it. You're watching a movie that's kind of living and breathing underneath you as you're watching it. It's like it changes and it transforms, because we didn't exactly know what it was that we were making while we were making it. So it kind of moves around, and it's not a movie that gives you an easy answer about whose side you're supposed to be on and who's right and who's wrong. This is a movie that really just presents the complexity and contradictory nature of this situation in Palestine and Israel through these actors, who are all brilliant actors, right? Adam Meir and Salome and Musa Kraish and Kareem Saleh. I mean, these are really amazing people. And so what you're watching is almost like a record of an event of us working together for 2 weeks, right? And to me, that's what I'm proudest of, is that that's what it feels like. It's like you're watching something that doesn't necessarily give you what it is right away, that you have to discover it. And that's why I think, people engage with it when they manage to watch it, because getting them to see it is really difficult. But once they see it, people are like, oh, wow. Like, I love how it's like, it's a moving object.
Agreed.
Nice. Michael, I got one thing for you. Could you let the audience know where they can see the film?
Yeah, I mean, it's right now it's on Amazon and Apple. I think it's on a bunch of other kind of, cable and direct TV and a lot of pay-per-view stuff. So it depends on who your carrier is generally.
Okay.
But the big for us right now are Apple TV and Amazon.
Sweet.
Nice.
And I'm really excited to see it.
Is there physical copies as well?
Yeah, you can actually order a physical copy through Freestyle is our distributor. I think Freestyle Media, and they have some. They on their website you can usually get. You can order them, and they manufacture them and send them out.
Awesome.
Which I love.
Awesome.
Are there any future projects that you're currently working on now?
I mean, I've started thinking about the next project, which is I kind of describe it as a psychedelic CIA thriller, inspired by things like MK Ultra and like kind of experiments that the CIA was doing with psychedelics in the 50s and 60s,
Cool.
set in a bipolar kind of fascist democracy. And hopefully it's something that I would make, as a hybrid with real actors, with maybe AI environments or something like that. I mean, that's how I'm thinking about it, but I'm really just in the beginning phases of research. So this stuff takes me a while to figure out, like, what do I want to do?
Nice. That sounds
well.
awesome.
We're sold, so we'll see you on the show when you get it done.
You had me at MK Ultra.
That's right. Michael, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about your film. We love stories like this, the behind the scenes stuff. We love getting in each other's heads. I mean, when you have a passion like we do for films and filmmaking and what all goes into it, it's just a pleasure to talk about other people that are just like that. And we just want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience with this.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I love talking film with guys who've done it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. And, I'm sure that, again, with your future projects up and coming, we will see you soon in the future.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Listeners, yes, or no, I'm sorry. Yes, repeat, no. Amazon, Apple, check it out. Michael, thanks again for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too.
right. That
Well-
was an experience.
Malcolm,
Yeah.
you were the star of the show on this
Yeah,
one, bro.
brother.
And you didn't even bring a camera in here. You sorry
know.
son of a gun.
Every
Yeah.
time we look
You
over here, it's
sorry son of a gun,
I
bro.
know, I forgot it.
We can't let that happen again.
Listen, that was a good one. I wish we could have had a little more time to talk to
I
him.
do too,
Yeah.
but you know, our
Yeah, we know.
yeah.
We don't have to call him out.
like, yeah, you can say what you want.
Hey, man, I think the time will be after the outro. Speaking of outros, listeners, like, share, subscribe, follow us on any platform, hit the notification bell, whatever it may be. Support us. That's what we're looking for. We're trying to set up independent film teams, whether it's directors, whatever it may be, actors. Don't forget to watch Yes, No, Repeat, Amazon, Apple, whatever it may be. And don't forget to purchase our movie, thebighammock.com. See y'all later.
Don't you put that on me.
Oh,
Travis
it's on
had
you.
to screw it up. Bro.
Screw it
he
up,
had
bro.
to screw us up.
Straight up.
Whatever.
Oh, man.
We're docking his pay.